Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple sign up form using PHP MySQL which will run on XAMPP server. So let's start. At first I have to go to the C drive in my computer. So I'm going inside C drive and then I will go inside the XAMPP folder. Then inside htdocs folder, and here I have to create a new folder. I already created a sign up folder previously. I am going inside this and I will open this folder using VS Code. So I will click on it, open with code. My VS Code has opened. Here I have to create the index.php file. So I will create my index.php file. Then I have to create another file for connection of PHP MySQL with XAMPP, that is the connection.php file. I will need another file for styling using CSS, so I will name that file style.css. So these are the three files. At first I will go inside index.php file and I will copy paste the Bootstrap starter template. So I am going in the Bootstrap website and here I have the starter template, as you can see. So I will copy the starter template having the CSS and JS links and I will paste it here. Now I will open it using the XAMPP server. So for opening this file I have to go in the browser and I have to type localhost, then the name of the folder inside htdocs, that is the sign up, then another folder, localhost sign up, and click enter. As you can see, hello world is printed. Don't forget to open the XAMPP control panel to start the Apache and MySQL modules. As you can see, the actions beside Apache and MySQL is stop because I already started, so the option available is stop. Don't forget to start these two modules, otherwise the local host will not show the website. Okay. Form. So I will go to my VS Code and I will start giving a div with the ID name form. Then I will give the heading of sign up form and the heading will be sign up form. Then I will start creating the form. The form will have a name form and this is the closing form tag. And then let's see how the output looks. Let's refresh, and as you can see, only the heading sign up form shows up here. Now for this 4 fields we will need 4 input tags. So let's create 4 input tags in this website. Inside the form tag I will give the input tag with the type text for the username, then the ID will be user, then name will also be user for this input field, and I will give the placeholder equals to enter username, and I want this field to be filled. Okay, a person cannot keep the field unfilled. Like if suppose if a person does not enter his name, that cannot happen. Okay, the person has to enter the name. For that I have to give this required attribute, and then I will give 2 line breaks after that. Like this I will create 4 input fields. So I am copying and pasting it like this. So the second input field, the placeholder should be enter email. For the third one it should be enter password, or I will type create password and then retype password, and the type of this will be password, ID will be Okay, ID for this retype pass will be cpass, and the name will be cpass, and then the ID for the create password will be pass, name would be pass, type will be password, and the type for email will be email, then ID will be email, name will also be email. Okay, now let's save it and see how the output looks. So if I refresh it, as you can see, 4 fields one after the another shows with 2 line breaks after each input field. After creating the input fields, I have to give the respective icons beside the input fields. As you can see, the user icon, email icon, and the 2 password icons. For that, I will use the Font Awesome icon. But before using this icon, I have to copy and paste the Font Awesome icon CDN link. So as you can see, this is the CDN link. Inside the head tag, you have to paste exactly the same thing. After that, I will copy this lock function, lock icon for the password field, and I will paste it before the type password and the retype password. Okay, and for the email, I have to search the email sign. Okay, so I will just search email, and as you can see, I will use this icon. For that, I copied it from here and I will paste it before the input field. After that, I will search the user icon. I will copy paste this user icon link before the username input field. This is not the link, this is the tag from Font Awesome icon. So I saved all this and let's see how it appears on the output. As you can see, the username icon, then the envelope which is for the email, then the 2 password lock symbols are visible on the website. Let's start styling this sign up form. For that, I will go to my index.php file. Then I will give the link rel is equal to style sheet and href is equal to style.css. This style.css is the file I created previously. Now this style.css file will contain the style code. At first, I will style the body by giving body, and then I will give a background color. Background color, I want a particular RGB combination which is 229, 19, 149. Then I will set overflow hidden so that no scroll bar appears. Let's see how it appears. As you can see, the background color changed. After that, I will style the form. So hashtag form, because form is the name of the ID. As you can see, form is the ID name, and the background color of form will be white. So I can give white like that, and the width I want to set it as 28% of the total width. Then I will set the border radius as 6 pixel. After that, margin I want 120 pixel auto. After that, padding I want 50 pixel from all sides. Then box shadow I want. Okay, so this is a particular combination of box shadow, 10 pixel, 10 pixel, 5 pixel, then RGB 82, 11 and 77. Let's save it and see how the output looks. As you can see, the outputs look somewhat this. Style the heading and the input fields. For that, I will go to my CSS file and then I will style the heading. So I want to center the heading, so text align center, and then the input fields, I want the width to be 90% and the border radius to be 4 pixel and border to be 3 pixels solid and this particular color. Then the padding, I want 5 pixel from all sides, and then let's save it. As you can see, the heading is aligned at the center and the input fields are sized like this. The width is 90% of this total box. Now let's add a button at the bottom. Okay, so I will go to the index.php file and I will add this button type submit. ID will be btn, value will be sign up, and name will be submit. And now I will refresh it. As you can see, the sign up button appears at the bottom. Now I will style this button. For that, I will use the btn ID which I gave earlier. Then I will add the width as 100%. Then the color would be white. Color means the color of the text inside the button. Then the background color will be RGB, this particular combination of RGB color, that is a shade of violet. Then the padding would be 10 pixel. The font size would be large because I want the sign up written inside the button to be large enough. Then the border radius will be 10 pixels from all sides to have rounded edges of the button. As you can see, the button appears like this. It appears nice. So our front end is created. Now let's create the back end. For that, we have to create the database. For that, I will go to localhost phpMyAdmin. This site will open only if the XAMPP server is on, that is the Apache module and MySQL module are on. Okay, so this is the localhost phpMyAdmin site. Here I will create a new database by clicking on new, and I will give the database name as db1, or I can simply give db and then click on create. This will be my database name. Now I will click on db and here I will create my table for the sign up. So I will give the name as sign up and I will have 4 columns, and then I will click on create. Now I will give the column names. The first column name would be ID and it will be of type int, and the length will be 10 suppose, and this ID should be incremented automatically, so auto increment should be on. And as I set this to auto increment, by default the index will be primary, so this is the primary index. Okay, next I will have the column as username. As you can see, here are 4 input fields: username, email, password, and retype password. For that, I will have username, then email, and then password. Okay, password I will save at once only, not twice. If you want, you can have 2 different fields for password and retyped password, but I will prefer to have only one. Then I will set the type of username, email, and password as varchar. Then the length of all this I will give 150 for email also, and 150 for password also. Okay, now I will click on save. So our database is created and also the table I created. Now it's time to connect to database. Let's create the connection. For that, I will go to the VS Code and I will open this connection.php file which I created earlier. Here I will write my PHP code to connect to the database. So this is the opening and closing tag of PHP. Inside it, I will give the variable name as server name. Then server name should be localhost in our case. Then we have the username. I will give the variable name as $username is equal to the username is root in my case. In your case also by default XAMPP username is root, and then the password I will give nothing because I have not set any password in XAMPP, so it's literally nothing. And then the database name I will give it as db name is equal to db, only db. As you remember, I had created a database with the name db, and inside it the table I created as sign up. Okay, so now let's create the connection. Variable con will contain the connection. I will create a new MySQLi object, and inside it I will give the variables, that is server name, then username, then password, and at last I will give the db name. Okay, and after that I will give the port number, that is 3307 in my case, in which MySQL is running. By default, if you have installed XAMPP recently and if you have not changed anything, then in your case it will be 3306. Okay, but since in my case 3306 was not working because of some other softwares in which MySQL was running, so I had to change it to 3307. I also had a video, I will give it in the description if you have problem with this port numbers. Okay, then so this is the connection object. Now I will check if $con gives a connect error. So connect error is like error. If $con tends to connect error, then die, it will show a error message, that is connection failed, and I will print the error message as con connect error. Okay, after that I had to give a semicolon. Else if there is no error, I will echo connection successful. Okay, semicolon. Let's save it and see. Okay, I also have to include this connection.php file inside the index.php file. Okay, otherwise it will not reflect in the output. So let's include it inside the index.php file. At the top I will include it like this, php, and I will close it like this, and inside it I will include connection.php file. Let's save it and see the output. Let's refresh it. As you can see on the top top left corner, connection successful is written. So connection PHP connect MySQL is successful in my case. Now I don't want to show this connection successful message, so I will just give echo nothing. Okay, inside the message I will print nothing if connection is successful, so that it looks good. For creating the signup logic, we have to create a separate file, signup.php. So I will go to my VS Code, and in the index.php file, at first I have to give in the form tag method is equal to post. Why post? Because we want to send data to the server. And then action is equal to signup.php. Action is equal to signup.php means as we click on the submit button, action will go to the signup.php file. So whatever code is written in the signup.php file would be executed. Now I will save it and I will create a new file named signup.php. I will go to this file signup.php, and now I will start creating the signup logic. At first I have to give the PHP starting and closing tag. Then inside it I have to include the connection file, include connection.php, because without this connection nothing will work. Then I have to check if the submit button is clicked. If is set $post submit. If this submit button is clicked, then the post method will be executed and the data will be sent to this signup.php file. So brackets open. Now in this signup.php file we will render the username, email, password and retyped password. So I will store it in sub variables. At first the username will be stored in username, then I will store the email. Email is equal to $_post email. Then I will store the password in password $_post. The name given to the password field was pass, if you remember, and then similarly C password. C password is for the retyped password, which is to check whether the user entered the correct password or not, and that input field had the name cpass. Okay, I am showing you once. In the index.php file, here the input field for username has the name user. Okay, so I rendered the value of username using this user value in the post. Then email also had the name email, so I used email. Then password had pass and retyped password has cpass. Okay, so these are the names I have to use to enter the value. And remember, the isSet function I used here is used to determine whether this submit name or submit points to a particular value or not. In this case, the submit button points to the form elements or the form values, that is the username, email, password and cpassword. Now it's time to see whether the username entered or email entered already exists on the database or not. So to check that, I have to fetch the number of rows containing the particular username and the number of rows containing the particular email. So what I will do is, I will take a variable $SQL equals to, and I will put the query select star from sign up. If you remember, sign up is the table name we have inside the database named DB, where username is equal to $username, because the $username contains the username value we entered in the input field. After that we will fetch the number of rows present. Okay, so result, fetch the rows present and stored in the variable result using the function mysqli query, and inside this function I will send the connection object, connection con object, comma the SQL query, SQL. Fine. Now I will count the number of rows and store it in $count user for the number of users present in the database with this particular name, mysqli num rows. It will count the number of rows, and inside this I will send this result variable. It will count the number of rows present and return it in the user count or count user variable. Similarly, I will also check and store the number of emails with that particular email name present in the database. If it's present or not, then I will check later. Similarly, for the email also I will copy paste this one for the email also, where the username will be email equals to email, and I will store it the number of emails present in count email. Okay. So if I enter a particular email, it will check whether this email is present in the database or not. If it's present, then it will return the number of rows with that particular email or with that particular username. Okay. Now I will check if $count user is equal to 0 and $count email equal to 0. If no particular row is present in the database with that particular email or user, then the user should create the account with that details. Okay, then there should be no problem. But what if a row is present in the database with that particular username or email? Then we will not create the account with those details. Okay, so we will go to the else condition and show the error message if $count user greater than 0, echo. In PHP we use echo to print or display anything, and within that I will give the script tag, and inside the script tag I will show the alert message, ALERT alert, and inside the alert message I will type username already exists exclamation mark, but before that it should redirect to this particular window only. So window dot location, the location should not change in case the username or email is already present. So window dot location dot href is equal to index dot php. Okay. Similarly for email also I will copy and paste this one, count email greater than 0, then it will show the error message email already exists. Fine. After that I will do the sign up logic. What if no particular database row is present with this username or email? Then we are ready to go to the next step. Now what I will check inside this if condition is that whether the passwords match or not. So if $password equal to $C password, then I will hash this particular password. Okay, and I will store it in the variable hash. Why hash? To keep it safe from the hackers. It is always safe to save the passwords in its hash format instead of the real passwords, and I will use the PHP function password hash. So what password hash do is, password hash creates a password using strong one-way hashing algorithm. You can read more about hashing algorithm in other websites. So here I am going to pass my original password inside the password hash function of PHP, and I will now pass the second parameter, which will be the algorithm which I want to use. So PHP has this password default algorithm which will use the latest strongest password algorithm. I can show you it in the php.net documentation. So there are 4 kinds of password algorithms present in PHP. One is password default, which I used. Then there is password bcrypt, password argon2i, and password argon2id. I have used password default, which uses the bcrypt algorithm. So what it's written here, it is recommended to store the result in database column that can expand beyond 60 characters, that is 255 characters would be a good choice. But if you remember, I have given the size of the password as 150, which will not be sufficient for password bcrypt. So I have to change the password size. So what I will do is I will click on this checkbox beside password, and then I will click on this change button, and then I will give the size 255, and I will click on this save button. So what it will do is, whatever the size of the hash value would be, it will store it here. Okay, so how the hash value looks, you will get to know it once I implement it. So let's go back to the VS Code. After that, I will insert this particular row with the hashed password into the database. For that, I will use the variable result, and inside the result I will store the query insert into the table name is sign up, in my case sign up, and the columns I want to insert are username, and after that I will insert the values which will be number one is dollar username, then dollar email, then dollar hash. Don't store the original password, store the hashed value of the password because it is safe. Even if someone gets the access of the database, that person cannot know the password. Okay. Now close the not here, close the first bracket and then semicolon, and the result I will store in the variable dollar result. Sorry, the previous variable should be SQL because here I am storing the SQL query, and now in the result variable I will store the result, that is the inserted or the number of rows which are affected in the database. Only if the row is inserted, then only some rows will be affected, or else it will return 0 in the result. Okay. MySQLi query $con, comma dollar $SQL. So it will return the number of rows affected. Now if dollar result, if dollar result exists, that is the value of result is greater than 0, then it will redirect to some other page. In PHP we redirect to some other page using the header method. So location would be a new page, suppose welcome.php, welcome.php. Okay. So till now we have not created the welcome.php. Let's create the welcome.php file. So I will create a new file named as welcome.php. Oh, spelling is wrong, welcome.php, and here I will paste the basic bootstrap. So I will go to the bootstrap website and I will paste the starter template from this docs. Okay, this is the starter template. I will paste it here, and what I will give on the message is congratulations, sign up successful, or I can say sign up successful. Okay. So this will be the message if the sign up is successful. Now let's go to the signup.php file, and as you can see the text is red, that means there is some kind of problem. Let's see. Okay, after this echo statement ends, there should be a semicolon. Similarly, here should also be a semicolon, and I am saving this file. Now let's see the output. So this is the PHP website. Now let's give a name, then another email address, then some password K, I gave K, and I am clicking on sign up. Why it is not redirecting to the welcome.php page? Let's check the code once. Okay, so there is a syntax error between this dollar and post. There should be a underscore. Okay, don't forget to give this underscore between dollar post. If is said dollar post submit, then only this logic will work, otherwise it will not function. So control save, and I am again going, and let's see the database. So the database reflects the data I entered, but previously there was an error in the syntax, so the congratulations sign up message was not shown. But let's enter something else again. G and G I entered, and I am clicking on sign up. Okay, username already exists, it said. So Riju is already present in the database. As you can see, the validation is working, and so I am giving Rijushree as the name, and let's see what is the email I gave previously. Okay, Riju Sonic, I am giving age, and I am clicking on sign up, and as you can see, sign up is successful. So we are done till now. Now one more thing we are left with is, what if the passwords do not match? We have not given that condition. Okay, so if password equal to C password, then this will happen, but else what will happen? Else it will show an error. So in the else part, echo within script tag open and script tag close. Within the script tags, alert message will show, and the message says passwords do not match. Then it will redirect to the index.php page only. So window.location, so it will not change the location, it will stay there. Location.href is equal to index.php. So let's check it. So I am giving age as my username, then age@gmail.com, and let's give two different passwords. One I am giving something, and then I am giving some other thing. Okay, now I am clicking on sign up. Okay, so there is an error in line 31. It says, let's see what's the error it is. Okay, in line 31, before line 31, in line 30 I have not given the semicolon. So PHP is very case sensitive, and if you put the wrong syntax, it will show error. My mistake, I have not given the semicolon before. So now I am signing up again. I am clicking on sign up, and it is showing me the alert message, passwords do not match. So this logic is also implemented correctly. So I am showing you all the functionalities again. If I give some name ax and ax@gmail.com, or that previous Gmail, and I give two passwords same, and I am clicking on sign up. Okay, this time it got inserted because the passwords match and both username and the email were unique, so it got inserted. Fine. So basically all the logics are implemented correctly. Now what if I give the username as grfgn and give some special characters like this? Okay, give two matching passwords, and I click on sign up, and as you can see, fatal error is thrown because MySQL server or any kind of relational database cannot handle special characters if given input. So this is the way through which hackers get into our system. The process is called SQL injection. SQL injection is a code that might destroy our database. They exploit the PHP application and gain access to the application database. So in order to prevent the MySQL or SQL injection, what we have to do is we have to permit special characters to be stored in the username field. In order to make MySQL allow special characters to be stored, what I have to do is I have to use this PHP function MySQL real escape string. So what MySQL real escape string will do, it will allow the special characters to be stored, and it will basically escape the special characters. So there will be no error and no problem, and everything will be stored fine. So what I am doing, I am surrounding all the input fields with this function. Well, this function has two parameters, one is connection and then the actual value. So I am left with passing the first parameter, that is the connection parameter. So here the first parameter will be the connection parameter. dollar con dollar con dollar con dollar con. Okay, so I am saving it. Now let's check. So if I go to my sign up form and just refresh it, and now I give some random username with special characters with it as okay, and I click on sign up, and as you can see, in this case sign up is successful. It is no more throwing any kind of fatal error. And if I go to my local host, if I refresh it, you can see this field is inserted in the database. One last thing is that if I inspect the site, then I can see that this site is not responsive at all. So just to make it responsive, I will add this media screen queries for max with 1350, for 1100 and 700. So for this different width, I have increased the width of the sign up form. So I'm saving it, and now you can see if I refresh the screen, then the site is now responsive. But I just want to make sure that everything is all right. Okay, so we are done with the topic. So thanks for watching my video. Have a nice day.